I mean, I think one of the biggest things you can learn from people in India is really work ethic. In terms, now when I say that, it kind of sounds weird, but I guess I should just say is in India, the people who work very hard, and it's a very small percentage, but those people that work really, really hard, they like slog it out. And it's not very uncommon to do that. Now in the US, you do tend to compartmentalize, okay, this is family time, this is, I won't take calls during this time, I won't take calls during that time, and it's just for me, coming to work is just these 40 hours. In India, when you do need to expand beyond 40 hours, it does happen. Now, I know in India, the negative side is it's not structured, it's very fragmented. You know, there are some pockets of excellence, but as an organization, you're not holding hands on doing that. But when you do have certain pockets of excellence in India, work ethic in terms of like going above and beyond for the folks who are overachievers, it's very common. Now in the US also you do find it, so it may not be the best example, but I think one of the things that you could learn other than that is really the personal touch, in the sense here when you're given a task, it's a task. It's not, you take out the human element from it. In India, it's about the human element. Now, it could be too much of the human element, which really becomes a problem then, but India has that human element of not just, this is not doing this in 5 days, it's not just doing this in 5 days, or you're just somebody who's going to do this task, it's also you're somebody who's part of this family at work. So I think work as a family unit is just more prevalent than here. I mean, here I don't hang out with anybody after work, I'm putting my hours, do the work, manage my folks, and then I'm done. I don't get involved too much in others' work, and it's not because I'm not somebody who does that. For me, I would love to be involved in everybody's lives, but in the US, it's more, you have that barrier. And I think in India, it's not there. So it's more like you know your coworkers like your friends, a lot more. Even if the work ethic part is not there, you actually know your coworkers more as friends. So it's easier to share with them your personal happenings. So as a Christian, for example, I know it's weird to say this, but it's much easier to share Christ in India with your coworkers than it is here in the US. Because the fear of retaliation is much more in the US, especially with all these, sensitivities around religion and color and this and that, and we don't talk about these things. We don't even talk about, tell us more about your ethnicity. Like, I mean, I know it sounds like a weird question if you ask in the US, but actually it's not. I mean, if you're from India or if you're from China or Korea, wherever, I mean, you have a heritage. Even if you weren't born in that country, your parents have that heritage. So there's a lot of history you can talk about openly in India, but you can't do that in the US. So I think cross-cultural learnings, I think are far more in India than in the US, simply because you don't restrict yourself in India. Versus in the US, you do constantly restrict yourself, and then you just become immune to it. Like you just don't talk about these things. So I would say that's cross-cultural learnings are much more, and that's something that definitely we could. So I hope in the next 5-10 years in the US, I mean, we go the reverse direction, which is, hey, now we're comfortable with all cultures, everybody has equal rights because we've been doing this for so many years. Now it's a time of really like growing in each other's cultures. And it's no longer about, it's understanding others' cultures, actively asking and eating different cuisines and, doing different things. I think that's just, 10 years. And again, it's there in certain states probably, like California or Texas maybe, certain areas, but a place like Ohio, it's not there. And it'll probably increase over probably the next 5 years, hopefully.